So welcome back again to Explorer. I want to thank you for watching. There's been a huge development in the country of the Democratic Republic of the Congo as the military court out there has moved so fast to sentence former President Joseph Kabila to death. So to put it in that way. So this situation in the DRC Congo is escalating. It's a complex situation in the DRC. It's not so light as global partners will look at. So we're going to dive into it into more perspective. We have analysts regards to news channels that will look into the complexity that are involved. So former President Mr. Kabila was living in South Africa for some time. He's been in and out. Most recently, he returned back to the country and to the city of Goma and all this area, talking about the M23. You look at the peace situation with Rwanda. And more importantly, this ruling came at a time when the continent of Africa, just completing the conversation at the United Nations, there's a huge implication here. So without any delay, we're going to be looking into the reason why. There is just no particular evidence that was put forward with regards to this court, according to news media. But first, let's go to Themba Dezolile. He's an expert on African affairs in a number of areas, talking about a perspective. So let him give us an insight first regards to this conflict considering the relationship between the former president, Mr. Kabila, and the current president, Mr. Tshisekedi. So there is some beef regards to these two. But again, let's go first into perspective first. And we go straight to DWTV with Themba Dezolile, who is well known regards to his perspective on Africa, and more importantly, it's a seasoned expert regards to geostrategic engagement. So let's play this clip from DWTV, and we will come back to how Aljazeera looked at it. Let's roll the clip.
A military court in the Democratic Republic of Congo has sentenced former President Joseph Kabila to death in absentia for treason. He was found guilty of collaborating with Rwanda and the armed group M23, which seized parts of the resource-rich east this year. Kabila's arrest is unlikely. Officials don't know where he is. Congo's decades-long conflict has claimed 3,000 lives and displaced millions. Themba Dezolile joins us from the Africa program at the Centre for Strategic and International Studies. Welcome to DW. First of all, where is Kabila likely to be?
Thank you very much, Ben. It's a pleasure to join you today. It's hard to say where former President Kabila may be. He's been moving around quite a bit, so his whereabouts are unknown to most of us, but he's definitely not in Congo.
Okay, so why the ruling in absentia and the fines for damages, which go into the tens of billions of dollars when authorities are well aware they're not going to get that money and they're not going to get him?
It's this is the end of a long contention that has been going on between President Tshisekedi, who is the sitting president now, and his predecessor, Joseph Kabila. So this is the culmination of a friction that started since the time that President Tshisekedi became the ruling head of Congo. Kabila had sought to control Tshisekedi. As we remember, some of the grievances, in fact, that Corneille Nangaa, who's the leader of the rebellion, the M23 rebellion, said that there was a deal that was brokered between Tshisekedi and Kabila in 2018 when the election happened, and Tshisekedi became president in 2019, and that deal was such as there will be some kind of power sharing between the two. I think Kabila sought to control Tshisekedi, and that did not work out, and the conflict actually goes back to there. As of the latest is due to the support that Kabila has lent to the M23. Kabila, who had fought the M23 in 2012, now says that the M23 has legitimate claims and the DRC should engage with them.
Now, again, if the military court comes out and puts such a consequential decision that's send signal, shock global partners globally, and across the continent of Africa, the Democratic Republic of the Congo's military court should be careful on what they are trying to do here, because it sends wrong signal. It may be right, but if you do not have evidence to put forward, then your ruling becomes questionable from the geostrategic point of view, which is what we do here on this channel. So if you are sentencing someone without any particular evidence, it raises a lot of questions, and geostrategic partners are watching very closely what's happening there. And South Africa and hopefully a lot of other countries, Rwanda and international partners, are observing this particular ruling because it may escalate things to a whole different level, because there is no particular confirmation on what's going to be happening in the DRC. So to have some insight into this, we have to go back again to Vemba Desilili as the reason why he's very skeptical on the direction where things are going to be going soon, and why this only put a huge geostrategic cloud on the country of the Democratic Republic of the Congo at this critical time in its history.
So does this ruling have some sort of political implications?
Huge implication, Ben. The DRC is a country that has been in transition for a long time now, starting in 2003 with the peace process, what's called the Sun City peace process. Democratization was supposed to level that transition and make things more smooth. That has not happened. The precedence here of accusing a president of treason and then committing him to a death sentence, as the ruling says, has tremendous consequences. Does it mean that Congo cannot have two former heads of state in the country? Does it mean that Kabila will be arrested sometime? Will they issue an international warrant against him? Those are questions that remain unanswered today, but it's obvious it's going to bring a lot of frustration among supporters of Joseph Kabila, in as much as those still exist. But it also sets a precedent for DRC. What does it mean for future president or future former president? At the same time, you have to ask yourself, what is President Kabila, former President Kabila, doing? What exactly is motivating him to take the steps that he's taken as of late, allying himself with rebels, addressing the nation as if he was a sitting president, settling in the Kivus and holding popular consultations in territories that are occupied by the enemies of his own state? Mm-hmm. What does that mean? Those are very tough questions to answer.
So this peace deal with the country of Rwanda, where the United States of America has claimed that it has brought it to the country, I think this ruling has a lot of unanswered questions in a number of areas. So geopolitical partners are observing this very closely. Now, it's interesting, most recently, you saw how the former president, Mr. Joseph Kabila, moved to the Goma area, and there was some particular deal between these two, as you've heard from the expert on DWTV. Now, but Aljazeera went a little bit further to look into more insight. However, the continent of Africa is going through a huge transition, considering what is happening in the Sahel at the moment, and more importantly, African countries are looking to silence the gun. So the ruling here at the country of the DRC, the military court, to the point out, will raise some eyebrows. I think it will go a long way to split the country even further, as we've seen. So I'm very concerned as a geostrategic analyst, and African countries must be very concerned in regards to what's going on in the Democratic Republic of the Congo in regards to peace. So to give you more insight with regards to Al Jazeera, let's go straight to a journalist who look at it, and maybe he should be on the ground. Let's play the clip.
A military court in Democratic Republic of Congo has just sentenced former President Joseph Kabila to death. Kabila was tried in absentia for treason, accused of supporting the M23 rebel group in the east of the country. Kabila is convicted of war crimes for decisions he made during military conflicts while he was in office. He is currently believed to be in the M23-controlled city of Goma. We're going to go to Alan Wakane. He's joining us from Goma in eastern DRC. Alan, just bring us up to speed with what's been happening.
Well, as many people were expecting here in the country, the military court ruling finally has sentenced Joseph Kabila to death. They are mainly insisting on the fact that it was proven by the court that Joseph Kabila is the boss or the direct responsible of the current movement here, the M23 rebels, controlling this town of Goma and also Bukavu, and still continuing with different fighting in different areas, trying to capture more area. The court also is coming on the fact that many people were killed here, destruction of the public equipment, and also the control of the public building, for example. All this for them, they are saying that it has been proven that Joseph Kabila is the one coordinating Corneille Nangaa, Bertrand Bisimwa, and all other different people in this rebellion here. But the big question remains from different sides. Now we are even trying to see the reaction from the population. They were expecting to see the court giving the real proof, showing how, for example, Joseph Kabila has been financing this movement. Nothing like this was proven, not even with the bank system, or even how he is supporting. The only fact the court is really trying to assist on is the fact that Joseph Kabila decided to come back here in Goma, the area under the control of the M23. But this is known by the population here that it was because Kabila has been under the threat due to the political situation between him and Felix Tshisekedi. Then he was already in exile, then decided to come back here, and also threatening to react against what he was considering already as a big political crisis created by the president Felix Tshisekedi. And then people do believing that it's only the fact that Kabila is here, but no one for now in this area, for example, or across the country, is able to prove whether Joseph Kabila is a real commander, as the court has been saying, and as they have decided right now here. And it's raising reaction and showing that this is going to bring more escalation in the political environment here in the Democratic Republic of Congo, as they are expecting the reaction probably from the Kabila side, or maybe Kabila himself.
We are at a crossroad as a continent at this particular time, and the global partners are observing very closely. So the ruling in the country of the DRC comes with a lot of implications. So African countries should pay very close attention in regards to what's going on in the DRC. Remember, regards to the strategic partnership and the relationship, the DRC is one of the richest, if not the richest country in terms of natural resources and minerals. And African countries must be very concerned, because those countries who are more focused or who have some role to play in regards to peace in the DRC must be asking questions that what really went wrong, what's happening in the Congo. And if the military court cannot provide the evidence that's needed, there's going to be question in regards to the reason why this decision has been made. So is it political thing, or is this kind of trying to settle scores? All of that is important to know, because putting more pressure on the country of the DRC at this time. Let's go back to Vemba Desolele. Let him give us his own insight. Let's play this clip.
And Vemba, just briefly, could this ruling bring more unrest?
I do not think so at this moment. Kabila was not that popular for the population to rise in his support. That will not happen. He had a track record that was not particularly positive for the average Congolese. He was in power for 18 years, did not really deliver for the country. So people are not going to rally in his defense. But the significance of this ruling is much more long-term in terms of how the country move forward.
Mbemba Piezo Desolele, thank you very much for your analysis. Great speaking to you.
Thank you, Ben.
African countries need less of this, but again, I'm not saying that if the former president committed some offenses or is behind something, then that should be clear and should be made with evidence. So we're going to be looking at what's going to happen in the TRC. But this decision, again, like I said previously, it comes with a lot of partners who take it with a grain of salt. So it's questionable on what's happening in the DRC at the moment. It is going to push things further for the success. We're going to be looking at that. So let's play this clip from Aljazeera that went a little bit further to look at this particular situation. Let's roll the clip.
We have just under a minute and a half on the program. Alan, I just want to ask you, because he was tried in absentia, and I understand that he is believed to be somewhere in Goma. I believe his exact whereabouts aren't known. That is controlled by M23. So if he has been sentenced to death, what happens next?
This is exactly the big question that people are asking right now, knowing already that the government of DRC doesn't have much maneuver even to arrest Joseph Kabila itself. The country is deeply divided in terms of the area where Kabila is now almost like back here in Goma. He has been moving around in the region, and also he has a permanent residence here. Some of his relatives also are back here, even some of his families. He has residence here, and he has a big benefit of trust from people in this area, and also the IFC M23 rebels are fully controlling this area without giving not any possibility to the DRC government to arrest Joseph Kabila. Even some of his surroundings are saying that he came back here in Goma from this Sunday. But it's very difficult because Kabila doesn't really appear in public here. Even if when he's Goma here, it's very difficult to know, and he doesn't speak to media, for example. Sometimes he appears, then it will be very difficult for the government to arrest him for now because the country, these rebels are controlling the area, and Kabila to be here, it's very safe for him.
Alan, thank you very much indeed. Alan Wakani there talking to us from Goma on that breaking news. A Congo military court has found President Kabila, Joseph Kabila, guilty of crimes, including war crimes. He's been sentenced to death in absentia.
Let me know in the comment section what you think regards to the situation in the DRC and why the United States of America thought that the conflict in the Congo was so simple the way they thought. But again, I strongly believe that the Democratic Republic of the Congo is going through a challenging period in history, and the officials there should approach this more carefully, because it could lead to something which the global community, even the African Union, cannot at the moment manage the situation in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. It's very fragile at the moment. Despite natural resources, the DRC is going through some challenging economic times at this moment. So African countries must zoom closer and pay attention on this ruling in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. I will be looking forward to meeting you soon in our next episode. Smash the like button and have a good day. Bye-bye.